to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching our live TV studio show on Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area. Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. YouTube, it'll be on there 24/7 with the 200 plus other shows. We appreciate it. Special thanks to everybody that's liked our Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook page. A new high, 3,147. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Keep on watching. And you can call in tonight if you want, 412, whatever the number is.
831-3304. I remembered it. I did my homework.
That's Zach Brenner. He made it on time. Smoking Jim Frazier is stuck in traffic. The Liberty tubes are closed and any alternate route. He didn't contact Chip Hayner here. So we'll see when he gets here. He said approximately 7:15. Now, I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I mentioned Chip the Prophet Hayner, Zach Brenner, little Z with Brenner Contracting. I thought the sun was shining when you come in. And Smoking Jim's in transit, like I said. We start our show off with what's on our mind, and we're going to do that right now. Little Z, what's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine, what's on my mind? Well, we could talk about a couple of things, but I'll talk about sports. I get the stare from Levine, so anytime I get off track, I get on double secret probation, so I'm going to try to keep this one close to the heart. I want to talk about local boxing in the city of Pittsburgh with what's on my mind today. On last past Friday, Paul Spadafora, the second Pittsburgh kid, the first Pittsburgh kid is Billy Cohen, with whom I share a distinction of being related to. But the second Pittsburgh kid, Paul Spadafora, was back in action on Friday night down at the Rivers Casino. And me and Al Levine and Smoking Jim Frazier were kind enough to accept the media passes from Mark Yankello at the last second to get into this event and watch Paul Spadafora, which was potentially going to be his last boxing match in the city of Pittsburgh or in his career. Well, he ended up winning, and I guess the prospects after you win of the next fight become greater and greater because he won the fight, and the man that he fought in the ring wanted a rematch, and I don't feel that that was necessary given the way the fight went on Friday night. But in addition to other local boxing besides the Pittsburgh kids, Paul Spadafora, we had cage fighting at South Point Isoplex. Pinnacle Fighting Championships. Our good friend, the lumberjack, Greg Rudolph. Man, it was a long build-up to finally get to see this man in a cage. Well, boy, was it worth the wait, folks. And I'd like for you guys to go check it out on standemup.org and go watch Greg Rudolph's 68-second defeat of his opponent because it's pretty brutal. And I'd like to give a shout-out to Brutal Brendan Barrett, who also is a good friend of the show in the cage, who came all the way from New Jersey into Pittsburgh to watch this fight. So that's what's on my mind. We had a great night of fights on Friday and Saturday night. Lots of belts, lots of victories. So I'm looking forward to going to Cleveland this weekend coming up on the 19th. It's Gladiators of the Cage, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. We got a lot of good friends and a lot of stuff going on there. So tune in next week to hear how that goes. But I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh's going to take the victory, and that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Little Z. We're going to cover some more in depth on those Gladiator of the Cage fights and the MMA that's coming up, plus boxing all over the place. So I'll give some of those reports. I won't jump all over what you put out there. So I appreciate it. Chip the Prophet Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, you know me. In my garb. You can guess what's on my mind. But I want to tell you something. Saturday night, I was down on the south side. I watched the Pittsburgh Passion take apart the New York Sharks. And let me tell you something. Those ladies can hit. That was some serious football that I saw on Saturday evening. They're 11-0. They're playing for the IWFL Championship on July 26th in South Carolina against the Houston Energy. And I got to tell you, these ladies can really, really bring it. Lisa Horton is just an amazing athlete at quarterback. She's just, I tell you what, if she would have played for the University of Pittsburgh, they would have gotten a lot better than the toilet bowl that they went to the last couple of years. But they play solid defense. But really what's on my mind tonight, of course, is the baseball All-Star game. Tonight, the All-Star game is being played, and a lot of people say, well, the All-Star game really has some meaning because, there's something to be won, and I really don't see that as being significant. I don't think that the who gets home field advantage in the World Series should be determined by an exhibition game. I think who has the home field advantage in the World Series should be determined by the team with the best records. But, that's just my humble opinion. But some things I'm looking forward to seeing tonight in the All-Star game. I want to see Andrew McCutchen lead off the baseball game. He's starting in center field. He's going to be batting first. I want to see him go up against King Felix of the Seattle Mariners. And also, in his swan song in the year that he's going to retire, a future first ballot Hall of Famer. I can't wait to see his first at-bat. He's leading off for the American League, Derek Jeter. Alan was talking about Pittsburgh Sportsline, who got 3,147 likes. Well, Derek Jeter's got us beat with 3,400 hits. He truly is an amazing athlete. If there's one thing that you can say about him consistently throughout his career, he's a winner. The teams that he has played for have consistently won. He's got 4 or 5 World Series championships. And, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this game. Of all the All-Star games played, this is the one that closest resembles a regular game because the Pro Bowl, the players play patty cake. In the NBA All-Star game, nobody plays defense. The score is 160 to 159. In hockey, what do we get? The score 18-16, and nobody checks anybody. So, you're not even really seeing a good example of the sport. In baseball, it's still the same. Pitchers are throwing 100 miles an hour. Hitters are trying to hit the ball, and, you get a really good idea of what baseball's about. Plus, you get to see all the stars of the American and National League play. So that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Chip. I'll revisit that because, I'm a big baseball fan, too, and you forgot to mention 3 Pirates in the All-Star game.
We cannot.
I don't know how you forgot that.
I cannot forget about that.
You're wearing the hat, but that was one of the things. What's that?
I say good for Jay Hay to make the All-Star team as a platoon.
We'll revisit that.
We'll go into that.
I might have a couple things to bring up. Well, I got events to bring up. One's that dovetail with Zach Brenner. I don't know if, John, can you pull this up on that special camera there?
Oh, you should be able to, John.
And with this, we're going to be heading up to Northfield Park, which is outside of Cleveland. And it's a nice venue, I heard, with the Hard Rock Cafe. So that's good. If you could go down to the bottom of it, if you could pan her, I'll pull that up a little. Tickets are on sale now. Check it out. It's only about an hour and a half away, so you can actually watch the Chris Dempsey fight on UFC a little bit earlier and then drive up and follow us up there, and we'll watch the live fights after that. Thanks, John. Then I need to pull you in on another one. This is a smaller one because Zach talked about MMA and boxing. Well, this is another guest of our show, Sammy Vasquez, who can, Mexican, American, and Sammy can. So he'll be fighting, and this is at the Consol Energy Center. Not only were Jim and I announcing boxing in the upper hill, this is the lower hill. So the Hill District is actually booming with sanctioned fights, and this will be quite an event there.
If I may interrupt,
sure.
How many fights have there been at the Consol Energy Center?
None.
This is the first.
Exactly.
This is
exactly.
the first.
So
and this might be the first time Sammy's actually fighting a meaningful fight, so I hope everybody comes out to see Sammy finally fight somebody, So I'm very excited for this. I might be in Brooklyn at a more important fight on Showtime on August 9th. Lightning Rod Soka is the main event on Showtime. So we already have some belts. I wish them the best. They're fighting for their first belt ever. Hey, good luck, guys.
And the other thing is, Monte, my movie, or my life's a movie.
Monte.
No, Monte Meza Clay's fighting.
Oh, that's Monty Meza Clay that's fighting. But also, in addition to
that's what we're going to have a boxing segment about.
Monty Eberhardt is making his first pro fight, and I'm very excited for that. So hopefully, I get to catch the Consol on the 8th before I travel to Brooklyn on the 9th.
We may get to do that. So those are some things that are coming up, and then there's another special event. We're doing our mini show with Jessica Lee at Stone Pepper's Grill. That's right here in the South Hills. It's the first time she's doing a show with Pittsburgh Sportsline in the South Hills at Stone Pepper's Grill, 5:30 to 8. Check it out, because here's the other event. Smokin' Jim has a birthday. Now, he has about 9,000 plus friends. So I want to see if at least 3 or 4 of them come venture out to Route 19. You don't even have to go on the Liberty Tubes and come through the tunnel because it's closed. come out through Banksville Road or try to find an alternate route. Contact Chip Hayner. He'll give you some routes all over the city.
51 to 88 coming the back way.
You can do that also.
You've got traffic there on 51.
So there'll be a
I'll
show.
get you around everything.
There'll be a show there. Check that out. Those are some of the events we got going on. And we may even do something special at this Road to Glory. Scott Benton was talking about maybe live streaming, maybe some interviews. So it might get streamed to our Facebook page. So that could be something else that happens. And then one thing, when you were looking at the poster, one of the guys on our show, Donald Bard, he's now retiring, but it's a great shot of him again. I just need you to show this again here if you can. He's the guy right on the poster here. That's when he had a beard, and he shaved that off on our show. So I respect what he's done, and he's taking a break from MMA right now. So shout out to Donald.
So he will not be fighting in Cleveland on Saturday, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And that's what's on my mind. I figured I'd cover a few areas.
Well, the one thing that you failed to mention is that Jason Bergman's going to be fighting down at the Meadows for a world title, isn't he?
Well, on the 26th. I usually wait a week out. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're all coming up.
And they're announcing it. Smoking Jim
well,
Frazier and Alavine will be on the microphone.
Yeah, and since we opened the revisitation and you mentioned that, shout out to Jason Bergman. He'll be at our show on Monday. We saw him at the fights, with Paul Spadafora. Shout out to Matt Conway and the trainer Jack. He's just a great guy. We had a great conversation with him, and they like promoting us, and we like promoting them, and thanks for all your help, guys. So we have that. Now, I wanted to touch on the baseball. Now, I get memories with the All-Star game. I've told you my 1974 All-Star game when I was 18 years old. So I always get a fond memory of actually being at the game, too. Sure. Yeah, but you weren't sitting behind the flagpole with us way up in peanut heaven.
I was in peanut heaven. I couldn't see left field.
Well, that's because we were in center field. We had nicer tickets. I was with some older friends of mine who got them early enough, so we still had peanut heaven. But I always enjoy an All-Star game. I mean, I'm not getting to be a grouchy old man and saying, look, we have interleague play, so it waters down, seeing all these stars. I don't know half of the stars, and I watch baseball. There's just so many out there that I try posting it because some guys make great catches or great hits or a triple play, and I just think it's so much fun to watch an All-Star game, even if you only catch a few innings of it. Now, am I happy about who gets home field advantage? That's one of the most idiotic things that I've ever heard. I've said it for years. There's no way that you should do that, especially in an exhibition game, because that's what this is.
But what they try to do by doing that is they're trying to distance themselves from the Pro Bowl, from the NHL All-Star game, by making these guys, making it worth something.
No.
So they got to do something.
No.
But I
Here's what
understand
the
that,
problem
so.
is. In 2002, the idiot Bud Selig panicked because he ended the game and let it end in a tie, and he didn't want to ever see it end in a tie again. And it's not the first All-Star game that ended in a tie. Big deal if it ends in a tie. Play the game until it's over. If you have to use regular position players to pitch, do it. Play the game to completion. Why you let that game end as a tie and then use that as a reason to change the rules on it? I thought it was pathetic.
I agree with you, and that's part of where I stand. That's why I wanted to bring some of that up. Sure, it is a little different.
While you guys are touching about the genius Bud Selig, I watched an interview late last night with Pete Rose, one of my more favorite colorful baseball players that I really didn't get to watch play because I wasn't born until 1984.
Are you serious?
But Pete Rose really feels that his best chance of getting reinstated is Bud Selig reinstating him before one of his last acts as commissioner before he steps down. And that's what Pete Rose, he's making all these TV appearances and making all these interviews and all this stuff,
But to speak to the issue, and I understand, Zach, that you were, too young to remember Pete Rose's whole saga. But Pete Rose and he's so disingenuous. He is such a phony, and he's trying to give his mea culpas because the only thing that matters to him, the only thing that's important to him now at the end of his life is that he make it into the Hall of Fame. The punishment that he got and the lifetime ban that he got, he earned it, okay? And if you were witness to facts as they happened and his complete disdain for the rules because the rules didn't apply to him because he was Pete Rose, I don't feel sorry for Pete Rose, and there's a very strong faction of the Hall of Fame committee and the old timers that absolutely will never ever vote for him to be into the Hall of Fame.
But another interesting nugget from his interview last night is that he feels that even the guys that took steroids should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, sure. That builds his case. I mean, Pete Rose, if you dealt with him, you'd have to count the fingers on your hand when you shook his hand. That's the type of guy he is. If you read more about him, and it's not a personality thing whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. There's a lot of bad guys in the Hall of Fame. The classic is Ty Cobb.
Absolutely.
They bring that up. And then you're going to get me fired up about Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was a good guy, had a great World Series, and Judge Kenshaw Landis or whatever banned him.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
He banned him because he was told to.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to show, he has some of, those guys with the Napoleon complex. That's the type of guy Landis was.
Oh, like Serb.
Well, I don't know what you mean. So I never heard that. But those are the things that happen in baseball, and some things aren't fair. And here's the thing that's hard for me to reconcile with anything with Pete Rose. I loved his hustle. I loved how he played hard-nosed. I loved his fielding. I liked that he was an all-star in not one but two, I think even three positions. Just two, he become an all-star?
I will get that in Chip's trivia.
All right, because I'm a little cloudy on it, but that's part of it. But the other thing that makes it hard for me on any of this, on what he says, is he signed a sheet of paper that said he was banned. If he didn't do that, I say argue and give him a chance. But he was guilty.
You know what? And the reason why he signed the piece of paper,
because he thought he was
because he's so arrogant that he said, "I'll sign this piece of paper in a year, and I'll still get in because I'm Pete Rose," and not so much.
And that's what happened there. And then getting back to Little Z, and we had nice ringside seats. So thanks again to Mark Yankello. I know he watches the show, and if I see him walking around town again, I'll say hi the next time. How about I never met him like I told you? And he goes, I said hi to you, and you didn't say anything about a month ago.
We're at downtown, at a Zazu.
No, I just was there today. By the way, thanks, Marianne. You gave me a nice cut. I said I'd shout out. It was a while ago. And I told, I'll tell Zach, I made sure she cut a little extra. Because at least I got my money's worth today, like I do every day. But it was great down there. It's always nice there. And they watch our show, too. So thanks a lot about that. And they're supporters of us. And like all the sports talk. But getting back to what you were saying about boxing, I thought it was just awesome to be down there on a night like that. Nice breeze, sunny. It was just great to see the fighters out there and a lot of action there. Could there have been some better fights? I'm sure there could have been. But some guys were brought in on last-minute notice, too, for that card. So I give everybody credit that put that together. And now they're going to come back. Roy Jones Jr. said they're going to have another fight here. And the irony of that was when the opponent of Paul Spadafora, who did get a headbutt there and blood was squirting out everywhere, he wants a rematch in the worst way, so he got the crowd all fired up about rematch, and everybody's a little smarter than that. They didn't say anything about rematch. They want to see who Paul fights next. Because look at the record that he has. What is it?
49,
1-1. I mean, he's had a great career. Sure, he's had ups and downs. But I don't want to look in the past. You look today at whether he's 38 or 39. One day I see it's 38, the next it's 39. For him being in the ring and being a boxer for all 8 rounds, that's something fantastic to watch. I'll tell you that.
No, his conditioning there's no question about his conditioning. He works hard in the gym.
But a Paul Spadafora in his prime gets that guy out of there super quick. So, a part of the decline is your hand speed decline, your power declines, and now like a fight that could have only lasted, minutes or a round or two, now you got to go to distance, and every fight's a fight.
Right.
So that's what happens as you get older in the twilight of your career. But the thing I pray for Paul is that he gets one more chance and one more shot at something, at greatness, and that would be a fairy tale ending on a crazy story that I've been a part of for probably 30 fights of the 50, and a lot of them were far away, and I was young and couldn't even travel like I could today, so I might have been more.
And here's the thing that always frightens me with boxing matches, is, when a fighter has completely outclassed his opponent and it gets into judges' hands. And we have all seen this happen more than once, and what
happened over the weekend.
What did the judges see that we didn't see when we were watching? I hope he does get another chance, and I hope he ends it decisively so that he doesn't end up getting robbed.
Well, he's getting another chance, there's no doubt, and it'll be a Pittsburgh fight, and that seems to help. You hate to talk about the hometown advantages, but you do see it in judging and everything else. I don't know, being that close to the river, helped, but it wasn't a close fight either on the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, they said it was a unanimous decision, and he pretty much dominated the fight.
And it was like 79, 73 on each one.
So he won every round.
But it's like I said, the caliber. I want everybody to know. Like, I'm all for boxing unity, but I'm not gonna be like Jim Frazier. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to fighting the best, when it comes to fighting the hardest, you come out to South Park, you come out to Bonola, PA, and you come find Lightning Rod Soka, because Lightning Rod Soka doesn't duck no fights. He fights everybody. He could be rated number 15. He's fighting number 1, the number 1 person with 3 belts. Rod Soka's fighting. So, you know what? A lot of guys pad their stats. They fight cupcakes. They don't really want to put it on the line. But Rod Soka, every single fight has been a big fight, man. The last 3 years, man, every fight we fought the best available person out there that we could possibly fight. And that's why we're on Showtime, and that's why we have belts. And it's not going to be, the fight. We could have been fought down at Console. Where would you want to fight? I'd rather fight in Brooklyn on Showtime, in front of millions of people. I'd then be the first person to fight down at the Console Energy Center. And I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a city boy. And I'd rather fight at the biggest stage. And the biggest stage right now is on Showtime, Golden Boy. Not that Mike Tyson's promotion is any less, but Golden Boy's been around a lot longer and has a more established promotion. And like I said, I just get tired of hearing all this stuff. Not everybody fights the best person that they could possibly fight. And I'm not saying that it's the fighter themselves. They don't always make the fights. But I know behind the scenes, from my personal experience, that we take every tough fight that we possibly can take.
Well, I appreciate that little promo, and I agree, but a lot of things in boxing aren't as fair as you want them to be, nor have they ever been that way. And I appreciate your passion on it. I share a lot of the same opinions there, but I let the fighters do it out in the ring. And I can't help it how the promoters are and who they are and how the judges are. So I'll be glad to go see Rod Salka fight anytime. He's a tough guy, and people underestimate him, so that's awesome. Sammy Vasquez, I think he'll be a great star. He's out there, he's battling all the time with the opponents that he has, and he has knocked out the ones there, and that's a nice record. Good luck to you in everything you do. Now, I just got a rumor that Smoking Jim's in the house, so maybe we're going to toss that little commercial, out there as soon as we can. From a very young age, I was exposed to sports in a great way. My uncle was on the first pro basketball team in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Ironmen. And my dad, of course, that was my hero. He was a basketball referee for over 30 years. Just been a passion in my life. And as I got older, I found out about horses. And I ended up owning a stable. And I was asked to be on a sports show with Roger Houston called the Meadows Racing Network. And when we were done, I said, boy, that'd be something great. Maybe someday I could have a TV show. Back in 2011, I had a conversation with some friends about sports that piqued my interest in how could we start a sports talk show on TV. Well, I found out I could go to public access TV in Bethel Park, and I'd be able to produce my own sports talk TV show. The great thing about doing 2 sports talk shows on BPTV is I can share my passion about sports with thousands of people every week. If you are passionate about something that you would like to share with the community, I encourage you to come to BPTV and produce a show like I do. I'm Al Levine, volunteer producer of Pittsburgh Sportsline on BPTV. Welcome back. Sorry we had a little blackout, but we're doing that tonight.
It wasn't the power either, folks.
With no further ado, here's Smoking Jim Frazier with what's on his mind.
Oh, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine.
Oh, it's
and if
coming.
you want the green, you got to see.
I love it. The streak is
Oh, man.
The streak is
Romanowski interfered with me. But what's on my mind, brother, is LeBron James.
Wow, what a popular subject.
I'm so proud of LeBron James for buying another championship. This is a guy that's going back to the Rust Belt. And, LeBron James now is going to wear number 32. And it's all about the money. And, why is a black man at the World Soccer Tournament? It's all about the money. LeBron was up there. The big three now is Irving, Kyrie Irving,
Wiggins,
Andrew Wiggins, and LeBron James. And the Cleveland Cavaliers was valued 2 weeks ago at $500,000. Now they're valued at over $1 billion.
You mean 500 million?
500 million.
Yeah.
500
You
million.
lost a zero.
Yeah, I lost
Don't
a
worry
zero
about it.
somewhere.
Yeah, just trying to help, brother.
Hey,
But we just
again-
had a blackout here. So now we got
Let Donald
power.
Sterling get his hands on that team. He'll double it. Double it value.
And again with LeBron James, it's all about the money.
Well, thanks for coming in, Smoking Jim. We didn't realize that one.
But so now I get to revisit his revisit because he just came in.
You know what? I got to make a ruling. No flag on the play. Got a technicality.
I believe if you guys go back and watch a week or two ago, I've told you guys the fiscal impact of LeBron James when he went to Miami to link up with the big three. He is the best of the three and wasn't the highest paid of the three during any of his 4 seasons down there in the Miami Heat. So I want you guys to tune in next week. I'm going to bring in some notes. I don't have a notebook or a binder or anything like that. I just
keep
walk
it.
in off the street.
Just keep it.
I walk in off the street.
Keep
I don't really take in too many notes. I don't read a lot.
Well, actually,
We'll help you.
He left $250 million on the table in the last couple years by going down to Miami and playing with the big three, by taking less money so they could all be there, and he was better than Wade. Wade was on the decline. LeBron's better than Bosh.
I don't believe any of that. But I will say this.
It's a fact.
I mean, you're right that supposedly LeBron was never the highest paid player on his team in terms of basketball. But Fortune magazine came out with a report. LeBron was the second highest paid person in all of sports last year.
And
Behind
the highest
Ronaldo.
paid was Cristiano Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
a soccer player.
Well, American.
Mayweather.
He
number
just
one.
counts
LeBron,
American.
yeah,
If you're
LeBron's
not
number two.
American,
Yeah, I don't know how they're paying these soccer players all this
But
money.
then, I just,
Billions.
with all this feel-good story about Cleveland, we've got the owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, paying a $92 million fine to avoid federal prosecution. Okay, so those are the owner of the Browns, and then
That's
we've got
okay.
LeBron James coming back to Cleveland, and I just got to this just in. Hey, Cleveland, there ain't no championships in your near future or anywhere in your future. It's not going
Hey,
to
well,
happen.
listen to
They'll
this one,
win it in
folks.
basketball.
Hey, listen to this
LeBron
one, folks.
will buy one
I didn't come
championship.
along for another 40 years, but the last time the Cleveland Browns were champions, Jim Brown was the running back for the Cleveland Browns. So that's how long it's been since the last time you guys
what about
tasted a
64 or
championship.
something?
And with Johnny Football rolling up dollar bills in the bathroom in Las
my
Vegas,
goodness,
because
yeah.
you know what
Oh,
they
don't
do is
worry
roll
about
up dollar
it. Yeah.
bills in the bathroom in Vegas, right?
Josh Gordon.
That's just how he
Josh
saves.
Gordon, he's never going to see a football field again.
He might. If Ocho Cinco could
And
go
those
to
are the
Canada,
insights that you get. But little Z, not only is the economy going to be better, like you said, if you check about 2 weeks ago when you said that, I got to apologize to people because I was wrong. I thought it was just a media negotiating ploy, but I was wrong. He actually believed that he would follow his wife because she said, we're going to go back to Cleveland. I didn't believe his wife had that much control on it. Smoking Jim talks money. Little Zach talks about LeBron. I'm talking LeBron's wife.
We don't know the agreement, the marital agreement between those two either. There might not be a prenup. So if there's not a prenup, you're going back to Cleveland, LeBron. And I didn't have to go to economics at Cal U. If there's no prenup, you go back to Cleveland.
He didn't either.
He was studying generals.
But I'll give you a stat, Little Z. They said that the economic value to LeBron coming back for Cleveland is over $500 million to the economy, not the value of the team, but they're saying what that'll infuse money into the area.
And I had talked about that due to all the championship
But there's a number
runs in
for you.
Miami.
I know you're not reading, but I heard that. So I don't know who told me that, but I heard that.
Well, I was hearing $1 million a game in ticket sales for every playoff game they had down in Miami. So for 4 years, they had the maximum playoff games that you could possibly have in the NBA season, going the distance to the championship for 4 straight years. So believe me, they made a lot of money down in South Beach.
Only thing that can stop LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers from winning the world championship is a young Raquel Welch. What? That's what stopped Jim Brown.
It did not.
This stopped him, guys.
It did not.
I'm trying to worry about this a little too much and quit playing with the rock. Pound the rock.
Since we're still on Revisit, Smoking Jim's alluding to the most famous interracial kiss in the movies. How about that?
Hey,
that's what you're referring to.
But not the first.
Right. But that's the most famous.
I like to try Kim Kardashian now.
We've already heard that, but you said she's married.
Well,
Yeah, Kanye, man. I think Kanye's got a lot of rage in him.
First marriage only lasted 17 days.
Somebody
so
please call in 412-831-3304.
Speaking of marriages, Chris Humphries, the first knucklehead to take a stab at Kim Kardashian, just got traded to the Washington Wizards, so his career is over.
Chocolate City.
His career is over. The Wizards haven't been
We're
good.
done with
Even
Revisit
Michael
What's
Jordan.
on Our Mind because we're so far off the track. I don't know how we expanded. Luckily, you pulled out a little technicality in the rule book. This flag was wavering. I was ready.
I like Lil Z on the inside.
How about,
That looks like it's about to fall apart.
he did. He pulled it. Well, we got the same thing with Chip here. Somebody destroyed the studio here. It's on shaky ground. And speaking of something that wasn't shaky, was last night at Sip Sports Bar. I want to thank Smokin' Jim. I had barely a clue as to what was even going to happen. He sent me a text, twice. I counted 2 texts. And I couldn't make heads or tails of what it was, except for the last one. And I just said, great. And then it happened. He pulled together a show, and he handed out awards to all the Hall of Famers. And, I can give a list of who they were that showed up. Matt Sedlak, Mario Tempest, Trapper Tom, Dan Bogan, Michelle Brevard-Peters, Go Passion,
Watched him play Saturday.
Jamie Chesney, Zach Brenner, Bill Boyce with his Fast Flash.
Jamie.
He started that. And then Frank Merja, we let him do announcing there, and it was just great. And I know it took away from some of Smokin' Jim's preliminary stuff because he's good there too, but Frank just dominated that.
Was awesome.
And then a special assist from the touchdown maker, Gabrielle Baker. Smokin' Jim had her there, and that worked out perfectly with handing out the awards. Went really well. We had a nice crowd, a lot of people eating. Mario Tempest also was celebrating his birthday. Yes, shout out to Bethel Park for letting me purchase an Itsy Bitsy Let's Go Bucks cake. So he didn't taste it yet. I didn't hear any feedback on it, but I know it was delicious. And it was just a great event as we went through it all. Family and friends were there. It was thanks for everybody for showing up there. I just posted it before I left, so that's why I was a little late getting to the studio. I did beat you 2 guys here somehow. But there were a lot of people to tag there. Special shout out to play-by-play ring announcer for Gladiators of the Cage, Grant Berger, coming in a tough situation. He's not on the Hall of Fame, and he recognizes that, but he's a competitor also. And he told us about some of the fights and the things that were going on. So check that out. It was a great night there. No meatball hoagies, but the fish sandwich was too big for that bun.
Yes, it was.
So it was very good. We'll be back again at SIPS. A lot of great guests coming up next Monday. Check it out. And thanks again for watching us there and showing up, too. Appreciate it. Now we're going to go to a couple of our favorite segments. Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, buddy, I see the green still on the
You need
floor.
another pen?
Don't do it.
Here. I'll throw green at you.
He didn't cocoa butter his hands up today.
He got, all right.
But my fiction and fact goes way back to yesterday. And Al Levine kind of stole my thunder. And I tell you what, the one thing about this Hall of Fame class, the Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame, and it's going to be first class. There's no double murders in this Hall of Fame, and I tell you what,
or really, alleged murders.
Yeah, and really, this is a first-class group, and from this point on, all the Hall of Famers will be first class. There was only one that was on the bubble. but other than that, I feel
33 straight Mondays.
I feel very strongly.
Hold it. How could you say he has the longest streak ever on SIPS?
The highest credentials of anybody in
33
that group.
straight appearances, and he wasn't always on time, so he followed in your footsteps.
Well, we're talking first class, so that's a little tough. We're not sure.
Okay, we'll look into that. Yeah. But hold it, you have the only vote.
Yeah.
Now I question the validity of the voting process.
Yeah, he was. I joke around. We joke around a lot, but there's nobody that I have more respect for, and I think got more talent to go forward in this business than Little Z. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But anyhow,
move quickly.
Al Levine, the talking machine, already mentioned the people that we had there. But just a general note, Mario Tempest, he brought his family there on his birthday to receive his award. You got Bill Boyce, who left his mama to drive 10 hours from Indiana.
Shout out to Janet. She likes a lot of our stuff, even your stuff, Smoking Jim.
She sure does. And a special thanks to Aaron Ward, who fought like heck to keep us under the 60 minutes. And that was incredible because we didn't think that we'd have enough time. And like you said, Frank Merger, we couldn't have asked for a better MC. And last but not least, a guy that you did not mention that went into the Hall of Fame, Al Levine, the talking machine. So, and that's a fiction and facts from Smoking Jim's Almanac, and I miss Gabby already.
That's my favorite one ever.
He's all teared up. And I want to tell you, Smoking Jim, I usually don't revisit when you do something like that, but thanks again. I do appreciate it. One of the few times in my life I've been surprised by something that I didn't think that was possible, but thank you very much. And then the other thing is, on your going back in a time machine, this is the quickest one that you've ever had. It's less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's never been done. This is another BPTV first. Smoking Jim is setting records. And I want to go on the record that the founder of the Pittsburgh Sportsline SIP Sports Bar Hall of Fame should have a bye and get into the Hall of Fame without any votes by anybody as a recommendation from me and everybody else that's brought that up to
Thanks.
me.
I got another honorary doctorate now. I got an honorary Hall of Fame.
Well, that's what I think you should, definitely. Because you got the only vote. We don't know how you do it.
You gotta quit printing out those major awards.
Well, the nice thing is,
You got a golden quib.
I got some blank papers.
You got a golden quill award that the ink hasn't even dried yet on the printer.
Get a close-up on the plank. This will be Smoking Jim's honorary doctorate of the Hall of Fame.
Hey, folks, I'm humbled, I'm blessed, and I'm touched. I'm all three at the same time. But I'm still waiting for the book to come out. I've been in line. I've been waiting a long time in anticipation for this book. It was supposed to be a New York Times bestseller. It was supposed to break many records. I'm still waiting for it. Maybe if our pen was something with Jim Frazier, like it'll happen a lot faster.
Well, all I can tell you guys, like I tell everybody else, if you're gonna dream extremely big. Because those little big dreams, they aren't happening. Go big, get bigger. Now that's it for your fiction and fact, because we're so far off the reservation. I'll pull us back. All right, now we're going to one of my other favorite segments. Chip's trivia time. I can't wait to hear what you have here, Chip.
Well, last week I promised everybody that there'd be some All-Star Game trivia, and so I dug in the archives and I found some interesting tidbits about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. The first All-Star Game was played in 1933. It was played at Comiskey Park in Chicago. How many All-Star Games have ended in ties? I alluded to this earlier. 2. The last time it was in 2002, and the moron that is the commissioner of baseball decided to change the rules because he panicked. But the other time was in 1961. 1961, they didn't see it was any kind of a big deal. They just went on. It was an exhibition game, and they went on with the rest of the season. No rules were changed, and you know what? The sun came up in the east the next morning, believe it or not.
Still.
Wow. Now, the first All-Star Game was played in 1933. Who was named the first All-Star Game MVP in 1962? Alan would probably remember this ball player's name. I guarantee you Jim wouldn't. And Zach, this was 22 years before you were born. His name was Maury Wills.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
He played for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
At that time. At that time.
Yes, he was.
Guess who he played for later, Smoking Jim?
What 4 players have won multiple All-Star MVP awards? Willie Mays would be one. Steve Garvey, Gary Carter, and Cal Ripken Jr. What player appeared at 5 different All-Star positions? That would be Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alan was
favorite.
starting if it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more than that.
Was it?
He played at 5
Well, I got
different
fuzzy because
positions.
he was with the Big Red Machine in Philadelphia. They weren't really big teams that I liked. So
Okay, who is
I'm a
the,
Bucco fan.
which franchise has had the most All-Star MVPs? That would be the Baltimore Orioles with 6. Cal Ripken won it twice. Who are the only pitchers to work 5 shutout innings in a single All-Star game? Mel Harder of the Indians and Larry Jansen of the New York Giants. The only father and son combination to win the All-Star Game MVP?
The Griffies.
Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr.
That's nice.
Yep, that's
Not Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds?
no, afraid not.
No juice.
They're all related.
Just like we are in the whole world.
Okay, what 3
Well,
players
I
won the
won
home run derby, then homered in the All-Star game that same year? That would have been Cal Ripken, Frank Thomas, and Garrett Anderson in 2003.
On
Cal
juice.
Ripken had that much pop in his back?
He had a little bit. Yes, he did when he was a younger man.
That's on ballparks.
Didn't Anderson
380 yards.
have 1 or 2 years and then there was no more juice for him? And
That's
that
right.
was it.
His body quit on him.
Yeah.
Which 2 National
Garrett-
League
Garrett
players
Anderson.
shared the 1985 All-Star Game MVP award? And to give you a little tease on this one of them played for the Pirates, and one of them had a significant contribution to a memorable moment in Pirates history. That was Bill Madlock of the Chicago Cubs and John Matlack of the Mets. Wow. And John Matlack of the Mets, whether you know this or not, is the pitcher who was on the mound when Roberto Clemente got his 3,000th hit.
Really?
Yes, he was. He was in baseball a long
Most
time.
of you guys were at that game, right?
No, the
Not Roberto
1974
Clemente.
All-Star game. Roberto had his last hit on
when
September
he-
30th, 1972.
Yeah, but I was at the
You guys
All-Star
at-
game
No,
in
I meant
74.
both of you guys were at Roberto's 3,000.
No.
This
This wasn't an All-Star game.
wasn't an All-Star game. I just added that
He
because
threw that in.
John Matlack I recognized as being the pitcher that gave up Roberto's 3,000th career
Yeah,
hit.
but
It was a double.
But
I wasn't.
Roberto's 3,000 hit was in Three Rivers.
That is
saw it on
correct.
I thought
TV.
you guys both were at the game.
No, I was not.
74 All-Star
I will
game.
take credit for the things I was at. I'm not going to make up stories because
It was great.
Nobody's left alive that could verify that right now. Who are the only 2 All-Star
some
Game
live feed.
MVPs to play for losing teams? That would have been. Let me see here. Brooks Robinson and Carl Yastrzemski. Number 20. Which two All-Stars played for the winning team 17 times apiece?
Wow.
17 times apiece they played on the winning side in the All-Star game. Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, and the home run champ Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank Aaron. They were were both played for the National League, so they probably were on the same winning teams each year.
Wow.
Okay, what future Hall of Famers? He only played a strikeout 4 times in an All-Star game. Pittsburgh's own Arriba, Roberto Clemente.
No way.
Yes,
He
sir.
struck out?
4 times in one All-Star game.
Really?
That means he played more than a couple innings.
Yeah.
Who was the pitcher, though? You know,
There was probably 3 or 4 different pitchers.
I'm sure that they weren't, chopped liver.
No, they aren't.
No, when
That decade and that era, there was
there was the best of the best. The first player to ever hit 2 home runs in one All-Star game. I mentioned this last week. He was a
Reggie
Pittsburgh
Jackson?
Pirate. He was a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Oh.
He did it in the same year that Ted Williams won the game.
Archie
with
Vaughn.
Archie Vaughn for the Pittsburgh Pirates, first batter to hit 2 home runs in an
They don't
All-Star
listen
game.
that well.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the talking machine, but I listen.
Okay, who was the only player to hit 2 triples in a single All-Star game?
I don't know.
Ricky Henderson.
Andy Van Slyke?
No. No. And what would have been, you guys would probably all recognize the name. I know Al saw him play. It was Rod Carew.
Yes.
Oh, he was
Rod
great.
Carew.
He was great, I heard.
He was a Jewish guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was in the Adam Sandler.
The all-time leader in All-Star game stolen bases. Once again, the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. What batter struck out a record 17 times in All-Star games? Yes.
Willie Mays must have been a great player.
Let me tell you something, Jim. He started his career, I believe his rookie season was either 1953 or 1954, and he was probably one of the greatest ball players that ever played, and maybe the best.
Wow.
I saw him play when I was a young man in the 60s. And then he finished out his career, and I believe maybe in the 74 All-Star game, which Al and I were both at, he may have been wearing a New York Mets uniform.
He was in the Mets.
Yeah, that was the last years of his career. But he played for the New York Giants and then moved with the Giants to San Francisco.
Wow.
In I believe it was 1958.
Yeah, I think.
That season, but the year that he made his bones was in 1954. And here come the Cleveland Indians who were steamrolling everybody, and they ran into the New York Giants and got swept in 4 games. And Willie Mays made the catch,
one of the greatest catches you ever see.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Like catching a football almost. Yes, you can YouTube
it.
it.
1954 World Series, watch it. It was a drive by Vic Wertz, and it was in center field in the Polo Grounds. In the Polo Grounds, the outfield went like this, and center field was like the deepest part of the park.
And if you want to see a guy throw a baseball from center field to home plate, check out some of his throws.
Are you serious?
And he coined the basket catch.
Oh, yeah.
He was the big promoter of that he started that basket catch.
But
Even though others did it, but
he was just an amazing athlete.
Great athlete all around.
But the batter that struck out 17 times in All-Star games, this is another Hall of Famer,
I don't know who.
Mickey Mantle.
No.
Makes sense.
Not Mickey.
Yeah,
The home run hitter is mostly
He
struck
must
out
have been
a lot.
out drinking the night before. He might have had a little double fishing.
That makes it even more impressive.
The Mick used to like to toast the bottle a little
That
bit.
makes it even more
If
impressive.
you want to be more impressed, if you can read a book, I have a copy of Ball 4 for you. If you tell me you'll read it there, little Z. Just read some of it, and you'll find
I got so
highlights.
much
I
free
ain't read
time.
Here's what to do. Before you go to bed, read 5 minutes. Go ahead, Chip.
The last one, but not the least, a player who retired at the end of last year. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He holds a record for most saves in All-Star games. And he was the last player to wear Jackie Robinson's number. And it was retired after last year, Mariano Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favorite baseball players.
Yeah.
The closer.
The closer.
He holds the All-Star game record for saves with 4.
I'm sure he has some World Series records too.
Oh, he's got a whole trunk closet full of them. I'll tell you right
Yeah,
now.
you just start looking through the record books. And
Does
you'll find-
closers
He's probably the greatest
closer-
closer in baseball
Does
history.
closers go go to the Hall of Fame too?
Yes,
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And the thing that you
I don't
could,
believe in part-time
and the
players
thing you
going
could
into the
touch on a
Hall.
little bit, Chip, is the
Kickers.
Mariano Rivera was one of the few guys though that he didn't always just pitch the last couple batters though. That
Yes.
he pitched longer than in his earlier days. The now these guys they got 3 batters and 1, 2, 3.
Well,
they're done.
that's the age of specialization that we're in right now. And I that's one of the things that drives me crazy. You have Tony Watson come in and he gets out 3 batters on 5 pitches, and then he gets taken out of the game, and it's like what? You bring your next guy in and he gives up 2 gopher balls and we lose the game. And it's like if you are that good that you could get out 3 batters at 5 pitches, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the mound the next inning. That's
Well, they backstab Grilly, so I don't.
They didn't backstab.
Hey, backstab, really? In his debut with the Oakland Athletics.
There's his
last
arm.
year.
In his debut
It's
with the
2014,
with the
my friend.
Oakland Athletics, he served up a heater down the plate that was the
They
game-winning
won.
home run. They lost. He blew a save right out the gate.
Not his first game.
Yeah.
Because he put that glove on that ball and the second baseman through first.
No, he blew his first save in the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah.
Right out the gate.
Well, I just want to say, since Smoking Jim's watching baseball so much, he
Highlights.
still doesn't have a clue, but it's good. This makes for great
That's
TV.
why he doesn't know the game doesn't start until the 4th inning. He only watches the
Yeah,
highlights.
but then it's after the 7th inning. After you say,
Didn't Grilly go to the All-Star game last year?
Yes,
Yes.
he did. But that was in 2013. It is now
Backstab.
2014.
it's not backstabbing when you don't produce.
You-
I got one more All-Star trivia fact that I like reading history and about presidents. The
don't.
first president, dead presidents are your guys. I know that. You've got a collection of them.
He loves to cost us too.
I know.
With his negotiation ploys.
Exactly. But FDR in 1937, Smoking Jim, was the first president to go to All-Star game.
Was he in a wheelchair?
FDR. Most of the time they didn't photograph him in a wheelchair. But he had polio for years.
Yes, he did. He was the only president
one
who
of the
served
greatest.
4 terms
Yes.
and died in office.
He was one of the greats.
Yeah.
Did he?
With his girlfriend down in Georgia.
April 12th, 1944.
He had a girlfriend.
You should read some history.
Down
I'm
in
sorry,
Georgia.
folks. We cover a lot of things. I didn't mean to get off the reservation.
She might have been
but
a
I
Southern
thought it
Belle.
would quiet the boys in the sandbox, and it worked. So I don't know where we're going next.
Only
We did talk
President-
about boxing, Smoking Jim.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, no, we're going to do it now.
Oh,
Like
you
to
may want to
interject any of
announce.
your feelings on Friday night's fights at the Rivers. Would you like to interject any of your thoughts from the fights on Friday
We got
night?
less than
No, thank
7 minutes. Okay.
I already did that for you.
What about the fight that's coming up for us out at?
July 26th, I can't wait. Promoter gave me a call last week, told me to tell you hi.
I can't wait to
I
meet
told
him.
you to tell you hi and that it's no money. It's free. Please come out and grab the microphone. Feel free to talk.
Oh, we got
and
the
then I would
video.
be wear a suit. Wear a suit. We're gonna put you in front of the heat.
We got the Benjamins on this one, bro.
I surrender. I hope.
Monopoly money.
Please make sure we don't lose this video because he said Benjamins. That means more than one.
You're getting the Benjamins. He's getting the French fries.
Whoa, that's gonna
I'm
be
not
a fight.
hungry
That's
either.
gonna be a
Here's
fight.
good karma.
Okay.
Angel Shafino, who was on our show with her son Jalen.
Okay.
Who I coached.
He's in the national. You coached him and
Went undefeated.
went undefeated.
Still got it.
And he's playing. He's one of the best, if not the best, player in the country in his age group. So he got invited to play AAU Nationals in Orlando, Florida, and she flew out Saturday morning with her son in the same plane that Roy Jones Jr. was flying.
No
so
way.
She texted me from the airport. Said,
She
"I'm
get
on
a
a plane
picture
with
with
Roy
him?
Jones Jr." I don't think so. She's not.
She's shy.
Yeah, she's not gonna go up like you with the magazine and the arm around Roy.
I jumped
I'm
up
about
on
to
the
call
ring
it.
and grabbed him.
Hey, did you see the handshake I
No,
gave
did
him?
you give him the
I
handshake?
said, "Hey Roy, it's a pleasure." Oh, what is that?
He picked it back up off of the ground.
Yeah, and he
there.
said next time make sure there's a couple of zeros at the end.
Very nice guy, though.
Roy
Very
Jones
nice
is a-
guy.
Roy Jones is a
Class act.
act.
Yeah, he really was. It was great to be in that venue. It's going
I
to be.
took a better picture of me and Roy up on the ring than me and Mike Tyson. So
we got more than your chin.
Yeah.
You guys ain't on the top of your head.
And I was able to get some pictures with all the ring card girls.
What we found unusual.
Making that run for
What
that.
we found unusual is you were sitting near the river, and I didn't know if you were fishing for catfish or whatever ring card girls. So I found out it was ring card girls. Zach and I were saying hi to the ring card girls because we met them the night before, and we met them at Mike Tyson's.
What was he using for bait?
Oh, y'all was at the
we weren't, but we become friends with them outside of your inner circle.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't get in any of those photos there. And we even had one of our friends from Steel Nation magazine, Jim Auger. He said, "Look at Smokin' Jim cheering for the ring card girls." And he said he's a smart man.
Hey, and a little fiction and fact, because there's no Z time, because we kind of went straight a little bit from the format. Hey, only one time I can think of, man, when Jim Frazier sat with me and Al Levine at an event, and it was on Showtime. It was in God's country. It was in Monroeville, and Jim Frazier stayed the whole time and sat with me and Al Levine. So kudos to Jim Frazier.
I stayed overtime.
He did too. They were sweeping the floor. They were asking him to help, and he looked at me.
And I'm just glad that he was able to get in and write for the New Pittsburgh Courier, and he had his photographer and everything. So I can't wait for the article because I know it's a secret. I don't know when it'll be out, folks, but I know it'll come out surprisingly. So I'm glad that he would, and I know he can't mention me or you in that article. So I know that. I'm surprised he can even mention Paul Spatafora, the Pittsburgh kid. But since
we know there's no Sammy Vasquez, we know there's no Greek, we know there's no Jason Bergman.
Just say this way: the article got a lot of babyface assassin in there.
Whoa, I understand that. And another thing, I got to at least shout out Smokin' Jim. I've met so many of your friends, your cousins, your TV stars, and everything else. And one of your TV stars, Liz Abadanza, invited me to Ivy Lounge, and she said, "You know, you and Smokin' Jim are invited to come out." So after the fight, I said, "I'll be there." She goes, "You know, Paul Spatafora and Stephanie are going to be there?" Because that's who was sitting next to me.
That's who I was texting. I'm like, "El, who are you hugging?"
Well, you know, shout out to our friends there. I went and saw Rico and Liz there. Spent about an hour or so. Paul Spatafora was on CP time with Smokin' Jim. I had to go home finally about 1 o'clock, 1:15. You know, I can only stay out so long, Smokin' Jim, especially when you didn't show. They were waiting for you. I said, "Don't worry about it." So shout out to the Ivy Lounge. If you haven't been out there, check it out. They do a lot of events. It is first class. It's laid out. The music was a little loud for an old timer like me, but it was a little different genre of music. But people were enjoying it. It was about 5 deep throughout the place. Bar was packed. The dancing, the DJ was there. So it's a nice place to check out. You should go there.
I thought you loved Tupac.
Well, I don't know if they played his song or not. I heard Wiz playing a song once because there was Black and Yellow. And I think they said one of Chevy's songs was there. Chevy Woods, Lois Brenner's neighbor, who said he's going to come to Pittsburgh Sportsline when he's not touring.
He's touring right now, folks.
That's why didn't I just throw that out there? So we're going to close this up pretty good. Smokin' Jim, what else is happening? Your birthday's coming up Thursday with Jessica Lee.
I can't wait. She's going to autograph my poster that night.
And you can actually bring some of your best friends and cousins out there.
I can't wait.
They're allowed to come out there.
I can't wait.
They'll all get in, man. We'll make sure they're in the front, not the back.
It's free admission. It's free admission. We'll be right in the middle.
Oh, there's no cover?
No cover.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on out. We got rid of the cover. We'll be there. If you miss Smokin' Jim's birthday, we'll be back on August 21st. So come on out there, 5:30 to 8.
Where's it at?
Stone Pepper's Grill. Oh, jeez. We only got 35 seconds. We're going to end this. Smokin' Jim, I'll talk off air. Zach?
Thanks, folks. I'm honored to be inducted into the Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame. It was quite an honor. I love working with these guys. I'm honored to be here.
It's his Hall of Fame ring.
Chip, any closing remarks there?
Hey, I got Buccos Friday night, Saturday night. I'll be down in Upper St. Homestead on Sunday to see a concert at the Carnegie Library.
Nice. Sounds great. You never know where we'll be, but check us out on Thursday. And we will be going up to Northfield Park, the Racino at the Hard Rock Cafe. MMA fights. we may be on the road again with In Your Face MMA, the editor and the founder, Jamie Chesney, and John Nieder.
JN3.
We'll see you there.